research this, because this is a new form of evil and genocide that hasn't existed on this planet before on such an unprecedented scale. Very different. I know, Nazi Germany did a lot of crazy stuff. But, ripping their organs out for money, it's a little different angle on it. I'm aghast. So basically, Mitchell, the Falun Gong practitioners, the Communist Party wanted them extinguished because basically they couldn't control them, or they were less controlled, they were getting too big. They were an independent-minded person, not a religion, so to speak, but definitely a spiritual practice that included respect and kind of antithesis to some of the Communist Party platform, and so that was a threat to them. And so they wanted to extinguish them, and then they realized that, they're really healthy people generally. Their organs are really good. They transplant really well. We can kill them, blame it on suicide. We can steal them. We can do whatever we want. We can mow them down. And, by the way, we can launch a multi-billion dollar industry of stealing their organs. So, in this next is that basically what's going on, Mitchell? 101% clear. Absolutely, you got it.
Now, I want you to imagine, we so much talk about Nazis and so much talk about what Hitler did, and rightfully so. We can never forget. My wife went to Europe, and she told me about Auschwitz. I think it was Auschwitz or Dachau. I can't remember. One of those. She went to one of the concentration camps there, and she talked about the feelings. She talked about on the wall, said never forget. While we're sitting here remembering these things, we have a very, very similar genocide going on in China right now that nobody seems to stop and nobody seems to be giving attention to. Martin, as you have tried to publicize this, and it's well documented, well researched, of the people being led into cattle cars at the point of a gun. Do you understand what we are saying? At the point of a gun, going into a cattle car, being hauled off not to a death camp, but to a death hospital where your organs are ripped out of you and the body burned. When you have tried to get this fact out, what has been the reaction by a lot of media?
Well, because of the pressure, China has the largest military, the largest propaganda machine, the largest economy. When this persecution first started, Daniel, the communist regime sent out an all-out attack propaganda machine to literally pressure all world media, silence any business or corporation that dared to bring this up. And they went even further to pressure on embassies and consulates, basically talking to the different governments around the world, saying that if you support Falun Gong, we're going to hurt your business ties, we're going to cut ties with you. For example, the cities of Seattle, San Francisco, and Baltimore all do significant amount of business carrying cargo from China through their ports. So all three cities withdrew proclamations honoring Falun Gong after protests from the Chinese government. So there's nothing that the communist regime will do to...
Hold on. I don't want to gloss over that, Mitchell. I think that's extremely important. China is far off, but we're here in America. And what you're saying, please repeat that. So, correct me if I'm wrong. San Francisco, I can hear, was it Seattle? San Francisco or just Seattle? They had a
Yes, Seattle, San Francisco, and Baltimore.
Seattle, San Francisco, and Baltimore. Go ahead.
Because of the massive amount of import and export business, then they have three ports. They have ports where a lot of Chinese cargo comes through their ports. They were pressured that if they support Falun Gong, that their contractual obligations would be cancelled. This is what the communist regime will do and has done to...
So did they... I want to be clear. This is an important point. You said, did Seattle have a declaration in support of Falun Gong, and then they withdrew it? Is that what you said?
Exactly. They withdrew the proclamations honoring Falun Gong as a very healthy and beneficial practice to the communities because of the business carrying cargo of China through ports. Yeah. And now I can tell you as well that
the communist censorship with the fake news and this I just saw it the other day that the communist regime has infiltrated lawmakers, government officials in seeking to create a web censorship in America. So they're exporting their censorship, they're exporting their Marxist and communist tyranny, a reign of terror that has been established in China for the last 50 years that has led to between 60 and 80 million people dead, as you have said, and 5,000 years of Chinese culture destroyed, and the tyranny and censorship and the control and the brutal persecution of its citizens. It's now exporting it into this country. And even Mark Zuckerberg, the founder and CEO of Facebook, have met with the communist regime for 14 times. And it was very interesting because I just saw a video from Alex Jones, and I take my hat off to the InfoWars team, and I take my hat off to you and Joyce, Daniel. He just came out yesterday with a video on the Alex Jones channel on YouTube and saying that he has never been hit and attacked. InfoWars has never been so hit, cyber attack, as they have in the last 3 days by the communist regime. And one of the main reasons is because I went on about a week ago and I talked to Leanne McAdoo about this as I'm talking to you. So this new form of genocide is going to be a soul-stirring feeling for human beings when this really comes out. And I just again thank you for allowing me to share with you because the communist regime does not want this out. And the more this is out and exposed, the more they will do everything to conceal it. So don't be surprised if you don't get a couple of hacks from the communist regime after this interview. That's all I'm saying.
We leave it in God's hands, and we move forward the best we can. So
absolutely.
Mitchell, you thanked us, but thank you for what you're doing and what you're risking, and God only knows what you've been through over the years and the pressure that is going. I don't know what I'm more shocked by. I don't know. I'm a little shocked by the whole situation, so I'm really probably not making sense. But I'm shocked by what China did. But I'm just as shocked in some ways that Seattle was bound to pressure for China and withdraw a declaration of support of Falun Gong. Money in this world seems to rule everything. Mitchell, before we go to callers, is there any final thing that you'd like to say or like to pump before we go to calls?
Absolutely. If I may, Mr. Ethan Gutman, he is the author of The Slaughter, and that book is available on Amazon.com. Daniel, and I implore your listeners, if you would like to learn more about this, please consider getting his book. You can download his book on Kindle or buy his book on Amazon. The Slaughter from Ethan Gutman. He's an investigative and he was asked by the Vision Times in an interview, what do you say to those people who still doubt that organ harvesting has occurred or is occurring on a large scale in China, especially through the use of Falun Gong practitioners? He said, look, The Slaughter, my book, has been out for a year. That's plenty of time for serious reviewers to question my conclusions. I can't think of one who has. Even the South China Morning Post, which obviously had to give a critical review given their financial relationship with the mainland, didn't dare it. And I stand by every footnote, every interview. I don't begrudge anyone the right to doubt. As I say in my book, these are serious allegations, toxic allegations. But no one has the right to dismiss the allegations without actually reading the corpus of work that has been published. This investigation started in 2006. Yet the volume of investigative work is only increasing. You want to comment? Hit the books. If someone is too lazy to read about this subject or just doesn't care enough about Chinese atrocities to bother, perhaps they should remain silent. So I urge people, Daniel, to buy the book, The Slaughter from Ethan Gutman, and also read David Kilgore and David Mattis's publication, Bloody Harvest, which can be found at stoporganharvesting.org or endorganpillaging.org, and really share this with your people, share this with your colleagues. If whoever's listening, with your students, with your colleagues, because this is very serious and must be exposed.
Well, I just applaud you. I'm standing and clapping to myself.